2020, quarantine is just part of the journey. And for these two young travellers, it's the final leg of their trip home.
Hi, Owen here, giving you a guided tour of our hotel quarantine. Welcome to our kitchen, bedroom, our bathroom, and then onto our wonderful view of the Melbourne CBD.
Owen Dunn and Amy Blackwell have been living and working in Canada for the past couple of years.
Literally just the nurses were at the door. We weren't allowed to step outside the door. And it was just a swab of the back of the throat and up one of the nostrils, and that was it. They were on their way, apart from making my eyes water. I survived.
They're not allowed any contact with the outside world. Owen's sister left out in the cold.
G'day.
Hey, how you going?
Yeah, good. Yourself?
Oh, not too bad. How's the weather out there? It looks like a nice day.
Yeah, it's not too bad. A bit chilly, but at least I get to go outside though.
Yeah, thanks. Rub it in.
When the pandemic hit, hotel quarantine was Australia's emergency response to manage the risk of thousands of travellers returning from overseas. They're isolated for 14 days and tested for COVID-19, but some have refused.
I wouldn't see any reason for anyone to to not take the test.
Hotel quarantine's been very effective, and it's one of the reasons why, along with the border closures, we've seen very low incidence in Australia. The majority of cases we've seen, over 60%, have been related to travel. And the problem is, if you ask people to quarantine at home, they will breach quarantine sometimes.
Victoria's Premier has acknowledged failures in the infection control at two quarantine hotels in central Melbourne. The government believes security guards were too close together, leading to outbreaks in the community.
How did the security guards get it? How did the first security guard get it? And it's likely to be from one of the return travellers. So that's really the most important breach that needs to be addressed. And then beyond that, how they spread it between themselves.
The pandemic has caused a boom in the security industry, with private contractors needed to enforce social distancing.
There have been literally thousands of security personnel who fronted up every day to work, whether it's at a supermarket, whether it's screening people, and have done a very good job. Whether there has been any failures in terms of protocols, I think that's something which the inquiry will have to look at.
When it comes to hotels, the security industry says COVID risk assessments are made between the government and the contractors and need to be thoroughly reviewed.
Once you've put this process in place, you've got to constantly check it to make sure that everyone's following the procedures and protocols. Otherwise, there are potential for things to go off the rails.
Elsewhere in Australia, hotel quarantine has run smoothly, with police and defence personnel involved.
In terms of the measures that New South Wales have put in, their rigorous sort of audit program has assisted in making sure that the program works more effectively.
Security guards who worked at the luxury Stamford Plaza Hotel in Melbourne CBD have told 7:30 that social distancing was lax. One guard says social distancing requirements were very rarely followed. Guards often shared food and ate together in groups. There was not enough protective equipment supplied. Guards often used one entire 12-hour shift. We had 2 meetings in that common room, and there were approximately 75 guards in that room while the meeting was in progress. Stamford Plaza Hotel says users of the room were encouraged to practice social distancing, and that the hotel was not responsible for supplying protective equipment to security guards. The security company MSS did not respond when contacted by 7:30.
The problem is human behaviour, and this, no matter how you try to implement quarantine, human behaviour is a factor that can make it come undone.
So this is our home for the last 2 weeks.
In central Melbourne, the Cox family have followed all the rules while in hotel quarantine, after returning from more than 2 years living in Mongolia.
And the hotel have also provided us with some weights. There's hubby testing them out.
Good morning.
We've been tested twice since we've been in here. We've been cleared as negative on both occasions. Whether you're coming in from an international location or whether you're domestic, the importance of having a test and proving not only to yourself but your community and your group of friends and family that you are negative, it's a really important part of being able to move forward.
Ready, mate?
But now their 14 days in isolation is ending.
In regard to the security, the distancing and the protocols around safe COVID regulations, that was all very well controlled as far as we're concerned.
Nice to be out. Hey guys, how is it?
Fresh air.
And they're leaving happy and healthy.
We're looking forward to catching up with some family and friends after a long, long journey back home to Melbourne. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.